And I can't see if we're live yet. Here we go. Yes, we are live. Yay. Hi, everyone. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous people. Thank you so much for joining us today on Angel Heart Radio. What a privilege and a pleasure it is to share Barry Gray with you all. Barry, welcome.
Good morning, Anaya. Good morning to all our lovely listeners all around the world. A beautiful sunny day here in Queensland. Well, kind of.
Yeah. So today is Barry's regular day, everyone. Barry is with me once a month now. And you can find out all the details on Angel Heart Radio on Facebook. And you can also check out the details more thoroughly on angelheartradio.com because there's a show guide there, right? So all Barry's details are there as well. And today we're going to be talking with Barry about the mechanics of mediumship, what that means, how it might support you as a medium or a budding medium. Maybe you're not even sure. And you can find Barry on Facebook. You can also find him on his website, barrygraymedium.com.au. Check him out there and you can make contact with him. Barry, hang on, before we start, everyone, Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal, medical, nor professional advice or your own sound judgment. Barry, when you say the mechanics of mediumship, what do you mean by that?
Well, I guess, when it comes to the mechanical side, it's literally how it works, and I guess how it flows, how you make a connection, how you keep that connection going. Sometimes and why it doesn't happen too, because there are times when it's not going to happen, and it does happen for many reasons. But for me, literally, mechanics of mediumship is the mechanics of mediumship on how it works, how we can make it better, how we keep working to make ourselves better, and so on. So, and I believe it's always important to have that understanding because, as they say, there's nothing more dangerous than somebody that's got a gift but no knowledge, not understand it in some way. And I think too, with the mechanics of mediumship workshop that I actually do, it also shows you how you can manage issues as you're working too. Because they can come up sometimes in a reading, and it's not necessarily anything you're doing wrong. It could purely be the recipient. It could be something from them in some way, or the audience too. So, there are many reasons why things don't always flow the way they do. So the mechanical side is about understanding how it flows, so we then can perhaps fix it in some way.
That's awesome. And it means that we can also expand not only what's happening in that moment, but ourselves. And in this profession, or the profession you're in, because I'm myself am not a medium, it's very important. And there are a couple of points you made there that I'd like to come back, but I want to welcome, we've got Chrissy with us. Welcome, Chrissy. Now, I did ask the question on Angel Heart Radio on Facebook, what's the number one thing on your mind about your loved ones in spirit? Head on over to Facebook at some stage, guys, and add your concern there, because next month Barry is going to be addressing all of those concerns for you and answering those questions. Like our page, follow our page, please. It's really wonderful to have your company and your support. And of course, Barry's page is Barry Gray, Psychic Medium on Facebook. You see his gorgeous face there. You'll know it's him. Welcome, Carlene, Jay, Chrissy's with us, other people who I don't even know who are with us, welcome. And welcome if you're listening later on the podcast. It's great to have you with us. I love how you said a little bit of knowledge, or I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember your exact words, is a dangerous thing.
It's nothing worse, I think, that somebody's got a gift but they don't understand it, because it can be quite dangerous, and it can be quite damaging if we're kind of using it perhaps not in the right terms or right context, and to understand what it is we're about, because with Mechanics of Mediumship Workshop, I also talk about the ethics of being a medium as well. So that all comes into play with that, because I truly believe these days there's a lot lacking with ethics when it comes to the work that some people do, and the damage they cause, the way they come across. They can come across intimidating or judgmental or bullying, and there's no room for that in the work that we do. So it's all part of that knowledge that we need to have to know that, we're there doing it in the right way to make a big difference to someone's life, in some
Yeah,
way.
I'm really glad you said that about the ethics and the responsibilities. That is a show on its own that I'd love to do with you, because it is I am so passionate about this.
Yeah.
I had the experience of someone was actually sent to me. As I said, guys, I'm not a medium. I work, in a different way to Barry. But in my readings, and a woman came to me, Barry. It was just terrible. She was told by a so-called reader, this is why you've got to be so careful about who you choose, guys. She told this woman that all her family were going to die.
Yeah.
I was horrified, outraged, and deeply troubled for this woman who now then was carrying that burden. So I said to her, if you are willing to place your trust in me, naturally, I didn't charge her. I will give you a reading and let's see what, the beautiful support and love and care that wants to come through for you. And it was a beautiful reading, naturally. So, Barry, I'm really glad that you said that, because that is so very important. You can really literally cause destruction in a person's life.
Yeah, you can make or break somebody. That's what I always say. You really can. And they're so far reaching with not just that one person, because it affects everybody around them too, because they get concerned, they get worried, they get stressed. And the power of thought can actually create situations too, once that seed's been planted.
That's right. Exactly right. I mean, imagine you're terrified every single time your family member leaves the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Same thing happened to my wife. Similar thing. She got told when she got to a certain age she was going to no longer be here. And she's like sort of 20 years later, she's still breathing. So, but she worried about it all those years. And her mum got really concerned about it when she got near that time.
It's really cruel. It's cruel. That's the word for it. It's cruel, and it's irresponsible. And as you can tell, I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really excited, Barry, that you're doing this work and that you're with us on Angel Heart Radio. It's so important, and I want to let everybody know, if you head on over to our Facebook page, Angel Heart Radio on Facebook, or Barry's page, Barry Gray, Psychic Medium, you will find Barry's workshop. If you're in Queensland, Australia, Barry's got a fantastic workshop coming up, the mechanics of mediumship, on the September the 25th. So all the details are there, and you can sort everything out from the page. Okay, Barry, I'm just looking to see, we've got some comments here for you. Jean's with us. Jean Marie's with us. She says hello. She's watching. We have Carlene. You know Carlene? Hey, Barry, she says.
Oh, hiya. Hey, Carlene. Great to see you on there.
It's awesome. Welcome.
Lovely.
So excited that you're here. So we've got a lot of love flowing for you in the comments, which
lovely.
Is cool. Barry, when we come right down to it, how does a person know, thinking about the mechanics of mediumship, how can a person tell if they are a medium or whether they're just a person like me, a psychic person? And in my case, I work with the angels as well, as you know. But pick up messages from time to time from loved ones in spirit. How can we tell the difference?
Yeah. Oh, look, I think you're right. In the first instance, with many, it's very sporadic. It's now and again. It's when we're kind of switched off and we're relaxing. Often that's when spirit will draw close to us. So that's why we can often pick up messages from spirit in that way, when the mind's switched off and the ego's not in control. So there is that side to it. But, when it comes to actually being a medium, I kind of feel like we know, because it feels different in that connection that we have with spirit too. It's not necessarily just a message that we get from somebody that's close to us in the spirit world. It's often the message that we need to give to somebody else, and it keeps on going, and we have experience after experience after experience all the time. And then we start to feel that maybe we need to explore it or to open up a little bit more too. So I guess in many respects, it's that difference in knowing, and perhaps it's that knowing that it is only just that one instance time that we may get that. But like myself, I've been very fortunate in the fact it's been there since I can remember as a child. So I'd always hear voices all the time, having deep feelings about things and people and situations that were going to occur. and always walking into a room and just feeling like I'm never on my own, So for me, it started at an early age with those feelings side of it, but there's no kind of rhyme or reason why things happen to people at a different stage in their life too, because I think that perhaps a sacred contract in there somewhere says that maybe when we get the age of 25, we may decide to open it up so we can work with it more. No, who knows? We don't really know, but that's what I feel, as
Yeah.
part of our journey while we're here type of thing, and you hear people saying sometimes like they have a bad accident or trauma, and all of a sudden they wake up and they see spirit around them all the time. So maybe that opens up the third eye. Who knows? So
Yeah.
there's many different reasons why people actually become mediums in that respect. But there are still a lot of people, as you said, that have those kind of sporadic moments with spirit in some form. But that doesn't necessarily mean they should go on to do the work. It just means that spirit are there with them and just letting them know they're watching them or just guiding them at that moment in time. So that for me is a big difference in knowing if you need to be a medium or should work at it or to kind of look into it, or just know that it's there sometimes for you, and spirit just want to let you know they're part of your life still in that way. So often it is about how you feel at that time as well.
Years and years ago, Barry, I sat in workshop with you and your gorgeous Janet, your wife, Janet, and it was really fantastic for me because what it did was it got me really clear. I wasn't sure. I hadn't long been working consciously with the angelic realms, and I wasn't quite sure at that stage what it all meant for me.
Yeah.
And I knew, and ever since I was a child, I've seen spirit. My uncle came, the night he crossed, probably, very soon after, and just came into my bedroom and said, "It's okay. Everything's going to be all right." And then I heard my mum wailing because he was her favorite brother. And that comforted me and scared me all at the same time. So I knew I had some connection. I didn't know what it was. But sitting in workshop with you, doing the processes, learning from you and opening that up. And you taught me so much in that one afternoon. And that helped me get so very clear on what it was for me. And it really empowered me then to move forward with much greater confidence and understanding, Barry.
Yeah, and that's what it's about too, because not everybody is meant to be a medium or work as a medium, because as you know yourself, there's different levels in which we work. Some people are more healers, some people channel healing through, there's counseling, there's kind of holistic counseling, there's psychic guidance. There's all kinds of levels in which we work. So not everybody goes on to be a medium, but most people, I think, that work on that psychic vibration or whatever, and healing too, they will also have those mediumistic moments as well, because that might be when their energy or their power is quite strong at that moment in their life. So we're able to connect with spirit, but you're right too. Not everybody's got their own kind of, I don't want to say their own job here, but they've got their own kind of position in doing the work that they do, whether it's healing, literally channel healing, whether you do readings, whether you're a medium, whether you're psychic, whether you do Reiki, it doesn't matter. It's all part of the same thing, but in a different way. That's really all it's about, So when you see somebody that can connect with spirit and give messages and guidance through the psychic, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're better than you in any way, shape, or form. It just means they're perhaps got a bit more experience at that thing they do, and maybe your role is something totally different, but it doesn't make you any less a person either. So I think it's always important to not judge ourselves against anybody else too, because if we do that, we start to doubt ourselves, which means that the work we're doing won't flow nicely as it should do, because we're creating blocks within ourselves.
Yeah, we're in that dense 3D energy of criticism. Aren't we? So looking at the points that we've outlined that we're going to cover today, Barry, what are the different types of mediumship? I didn't actually know there were different types.
Look, there's so many different types, but one of the main ones I like to talk about is the physical aspect of mediumship, because physical side of mediumship is fairly rare these days, and it started off back in the 1800s in America with the Fox sisters, and they used to hear rappings on the wall, knockings on the wall, and they found that they could communicate by knocking once for yes, twice for no type of scenario, in that sort of way. So that was a form of physical mediumship, because it was using physicalness of our world to be able to communicate with us in that sort of way. So that's one way. And then the other physical side of mediumship is also, back in the day, there was a thing called ectoplasm, where a medium would sit in a box and maybe behind a curtain, and it would be tied down so he couldn't move. And then ectoplasm would flow through them, through their body and out through their nose and their mouth and other places, and it would form into a spirit. So that's another form of physical mediumship, and that is so rare these days. And obviously, I've not heard of many places or many situations where it happens anymore. But to me, that would be the most amazing thing to see. To see spirit
terrifying to me.
Forming. Honestly, for me, I'd be like, wow, this is just more. It's seeing them forming in front of you, because I think what used to happen was the ectoplasm would flow on the floor, and spirit would come up underneath and form into a spirit, and they would go to their loved one in the room and talk to them. So, and you see faces and that kind of thing. So. But obviously it's very rare these days. And I think too, because of the life we live, the crazy life and everything else too, we don't kind of create that situation for that to happen, but that's one of my biggest my bucket list with spirit, I think, to see that while I'm still in this world type of thing, to experience that. And then the other side of physical is, we see orbs, we see lights, spirit lights, sometimes floating around the room, and often that can get caught on camera. But with that side of it, it's always the skeptical side, as in a bit of dirt on the lens type of thing as well can come with that, But if you can actually film it moving live, that's obviously a better way, because you can often see the spirit much clearer in that way, So that's another form of physical mediumship.
Just on that one, Barry, before we move on from there, I've got to tell you this. When I was in a workshop in 2003, it was so cool, because I noticed the room was full of orbs, but I noticed this one particular orb, and it was flat on one side. And over the years, this particular orb kept turning up in lots of different photos. And then I was at a gathering one night, a celebration one night, and we're all around the fire. And I said to everyone, let's have a photo. And then I said, let's get all the beautiful energies in. Come on, orbs, come on, guides, come on, spirit. Oh my God, it's the most amazing photo. And that orb was there again. And that was really cool for me, because that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt for me personally, this was a bona fide experience. It wasn't that light reflection. It wasn't it wasn't a sort of a glitch on the film, because it was film in those days, right?
Yeah.
Very
exactly.
exciting. Yeah.
Oh, it is, and I think too, I've got two wonderful photos that I had taken in when we went to the London Dungeons one year, and I've got all these most amazing colours of green and red all around my body, in these photos. And one of them behind is, I've got this looks like a statue, a figure of a statue behind me, looks like a executioner or somebody like that that's standing behind me in different colours as well. So that camera, it was just a basic camera, actually caught that moment with all the different colours that are around it. So certainly colour with the camera, that can certainly capture spirit in so many ways. And with the light and technology that we've got, it's a wonderful way to be able to do that. So that's another form of physical mediumship that comes up that way. And the other thing too is that objects can be moved around as well. I don't know about you guys, but I know I've experienced that too, where I swear I put my door keys on the side there, and when I get up in the morning and they're not there, they're perhaps on the couch or something like that. So that's quite a common occurrence with spirit coming in to be around us. So so there are many different forms of physical mediumship in that way. Trance is another form, because it's we feel that physicalness of ourselves changing when spirit come to work with us and to blend with us and to kind of use us to give out information or philosophy or whatever's needed at the moment in time. So so there are so many different kind of physical aspects to mediumship, but physical mediumship is sort of fairly rare these days compared to the way we work today on a mental level.
Okay, we've got the lovely Annette McCoy with us. Annette would like a reading later in the show.
Awesome.
Barry, please. Yes, Barry, I'd love to do that for you, gorgeous.
Yes.
Priscilla just joined us. Welcome. We have a couple of things I'd like to share with you. Where did we go? Oh, Elaine's with us. Thanks, Barry. Whatever the point was, she said that clears it up for me. So that's very cool. Thanks for letting us know, Elaine. Jay says, if you have had have you had the random drop-ins from your loved ones or loved ones from others? If you've had it, does that mean you can further develop mediumistic ability?
Look, it is, again, there's two sides to that. As we were saying, the first part is that it doesn't necessarily mean that you should sort of follow that up and work with it, because we get those kind of things. But maybe if it starts to happen on a regular basis, then I would suggest that perhaps it is good to look into that for yourself to understand it and maybe start to work on developing that a little bit more, because as I said, there's a difference in it happening just, I don't know, once in a blue moon type of thing compared to perhaps weekly or monthly type of situation. Sorry. So, I always feel that perhaps it is a good idea if it's happening on a regular basis for you. And I kind of feel in this instance, it is that case of you doing that because, I kind of feel with what you've been through in your own life, it tells me that, you've also got a lot to share with people on a personal level, which is also part of our spiritual development too. So in answer to that, I feel yes in this instance.
Okay, I bet that helps you. It really does, and I'm really grateful for that, Barry, because this is part of what Angel Heart Radio is about. It's not just about okay, what can we say, what can we share? It's how can we support you, gift you,
exactly.
give to you, right? You're our community, you're our family, and we're really blessed in so many ways to be with you. Fatima says, Ectoplasm is very cool. I witnessed that when I took spiritual development classes in the 90s. Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, ectoplasm. Wow. Yeah, that would be just an amazing thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so cool. Jean Mary says, I find that most days there is a message that I have to share with a person and it just comes out and they will say, how did you know that? And can you answer this or that for me?
Yeah. Oh, look, I think sometimes too that could be both psychic or mediumship or both. So again, it's determining the difference on what level you're working at. Because many people are very good psychically, but maybe not so mediumistically. Because we've all got those God-given abilities, I think, psychically to do that. It's our feelings, it's our intuition. It's like those things that. Just when we're going to do something, we have a sense it's going to go wrong, but we still do it anyway. And then we go, God, I wish I'd listened to that at the beginning. So when we all do it, that's all part of that psychic that we've all got in that way. So when it comes to the mediumship side, if you're absolutely certain it's coming from a loved one in the spirit world, then, again, obviously, if it's happening more to you on a regular occurrence, maybe that spirit is starting to use you more to be able to do things like that. And I think when that starts to happen, maybe you're kind of being guided and pushed into, again, opening up your own senses a little bit more by working with it and trying to understand how it works for you in the way that it's coming through. But remember, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, we are just literally messengers for our loved ones in the spirit world, for those here on the earth plane.
Absolutely. And that's such a good point because this work isn't about us.
No.
When I spoke with John Holland recently, or sometime, I don't know, this year, that's one of the things that I heard in his book and that he said, and that really connected with me so powerfully. Less of me, more of you.
Yeah,
to stand back, and I know you are. I have seen you, Barry. I remember everyone being in a big hall full of people, and Barry was going to be doing some of his stage work that night. Someone was on before you. I don't remember who now, but you and I were standing at the back just chatting. We hadn't long met.
Yeah.
And you said, well, I'll be on in 20 minutes or whatever. I've got to go. And I said, where are you going? And you said, I don't like to be here. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to read people's body language. When I come on, I want to know that I'm fresh and present for everyone.
Yeah.
Straight then I went, that is a man to trust. That is a medium to trust. So I can guarantee if you need a medium, Barry Gray is a wonderful choice if that feels right for you. He's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. And that's part of my kind of ethics, too, with that side. I've worked with people in the past and I've seen them go and sit in the audience with people talking to them. And then they get up on the stage and then, some of the information they're giving is what they've already known. They already find out. So for me, it's like being able to cut out all of that kind of thing, to be accused that you already know that because you spoke to somebody type of thing. I kind of don't like to do that myself. Plus also for me, I can find that can affect my energy very quickly if I'm around people too. So I do need to be away from people in my own little space before I'm ready to either go on, or even when I'm working at a church, doing the church service sort of thing too. I still like to have my own 10 minutes, 15 minutes to myself away from everybody, so I can get myself in that zone ready and not be kind of listening to what's going on around me. Because if I hear information and I hear people talking about something straight away, if spirit then come in, it's like I can't give it. I won't give it because I know I've already heard it from there rather than spirit, because sometimes we get tested in that way. I believe we get tested from our guides in spirit too, to make sure we're still honest with what we do.
Wow.
So, and that's a good point, because it is, for me, that's so important to do that, and be away from everybody so you're ready to go clean and fresh from the bottom, I guess.
Yeah.
In that way.
I love that. I find that so powerful and moving, because and I could see on your face, I'm getting really emotional now. I could see on your face the depth of that commitment that you have, not only to your work and spirit who comes through, but to the people who place their trust. They place their hands, hopes in your, in your hands, their heart in your hands. And they've opened themselves. And that is, to me, a sacred gift and responsibility.
It is.
And I bet everyone watching could see that written all over your face, the genuine.
Honestly, and like I said, it's the ethics, and I guess because I've had really wonderful teachers when I was back in the UK, and they kind of drummed all those kind of things into to make sure you do it right, you do it properly, you do it for the right reasons, and you're motivated in doing it the right way as well. And another situation I also had once, I was in front of an audience of about 100 people. I think it was up on the Sunshine Coast one year. I stood up, I had absolutely nothing, no connections, absolutely nothing whatsoever. And I'm like, I tried so hard. And in the end, I said, look, I'm really sorry, but I have no connections with spirit whatsoever. I cannot do this. So we still had a good night, but we kept it more psychically and questions and answers. So it still went really well, but mediumistically, I just couldn't do it that night. But I had to stand up in front of them people and say that, because, that wasn't it's never an easy thing to do, because you're there to try and prove soul survival. But when it doesn't happen, there's nothing you can do about that. You can't try and make it happen. You can't change that situation. You can't make things up, because there's no point. You just look stupid, and it all comes from ethics. I totally believe that, and that's why I've always been told anyway.
And it's so important. And I tell you, that takes a lot of guts. I had to do that once on a caller on Angel Heart Radio when we were just a podcast, and they asked for something, and I got nothing. It's the only time it's ever happened. In the 20-something years I've been reading it, I got nothing.
Yeah.
And when you have to take your courage, but your integrity, and you have to say that, I'm sorry, I'm not receiving anything for you.
Yeah, exactly.
My love and blessings, and that's it, right? You got to do it. And if you don't do it, like you said, what if that is, when I say a test, I don't mean to say if you're going to pass or fail, but it's like, are you ready to take that leap? Are you ready to expand to the next level? Here we're presenting you an opportunity to find out. And if you're ready to do it, you'll be swept up in love and carried forward, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, as you said, it's not like a deliberate test, because sometimes that could also be something to do with us that's not working right on that particular time. Whether we're tired, whether we've had a lot going on in our physical life, there are many reasons why this can happen. And it's not always about spirit not being there, because spirit are always going to be there. It's always about us and what we were in at that moment in time. So for me, as you said, it's not a deliberate test, but it's still a test to see how we kind of cope with that and how we deal with that. It's that kind of thing. So, and it's always an important thing to remember.
Okay. All right. That's so true. Sorry, I know I'm jumping in here, but I just want to acknowledge immediately, Lacey has shared that a dear friend died tragically this past weekend. Do you think you can connect to him possibly? So I want you to know, Lacey, that we will definitely, you are now on the list, because Barry will do some readings today. And I just didn't want that to roll past and then me.
No, that's okay.
Really important. Thank you, Barry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you. So we have a lot of questions coming in for you, Barry.
Awesome.
Next month, which will be the, I believe, 7th in the USA and Canada timeline, 8th here in Australia, UK, New Zealand timeline. We are going to be taking all your questions, and Barry is going to be answering them for you. Let me see how much time we've got. Man, oh man, half the program's already gone. So if you guys, it does. If you don't mind, okay, we've got someone here. Listen, if someone offers you the opportunity to receive a reading, PM me for a reading, ignore them. They're spam, they're hacks, they're not to be trusted. We just had that happen right now in the chat room. And it does happen on these types of shows, Barry. We know that.
Yeah.
So guys, use your discernment, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
If a stranger came up to you in the street and said, I've got a great tip for you, give us $20, I'll figure it out for you. What would you say?
Yeah.
No, thanks. Same with readings. People who approach you this way, do not trust them. The energy is not pure. It is not clear. It is not full of integrity. Right.
Yeah. And that's what I always think too, like if people want to read in, then it's up to them to approach somebody to have the reading with, rather than the reader approaching somebody else, because I'm a great believer in that too. You don't force yourself upon anybody. And I always think that spirit will always guide somebody to whoever they think's best for them as well, rather than being encroached upon and poached for their business, so that's such an important sort of point to make.
Absolutely. And, because this is something that happens to us all. I remember when I first started in this work, I'd go up to strangers and give messages, thinking in my heart that I was doing something wonderful. And it took me a while to learn the difference between, as you say, approaching someone and placing that on them and having them come to me. It wasn't about them. It was about me. I've got a message for you. I have to give. So it wasn't about them at all. So that's a really good point.
And it comes that sometimes can come from ego too, from some people. It's like, I can do this, so I'm going to do it, type of thing. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that, but I just think they have to be mindful that they can have the effect on somebody, again, positively or negatively as well. I used to get it all the time where I'd be in a shop just queuing up, and I hear, sense spirit building up behind me, and they go, can you tell them mum's here? And they'll be wanting me to give a message to the person in front, sort of thing, whether it's mum or whoever. And I'm like, in my mind, I'll be saying, like, no, I can't say that, because I don't know how they're going to react to you being here. And and if they're not open to it, they're going to think like, where's my spaceship in a car park type of person, or who knows, so it's always kind of being mindful of that, and how the timing of something and how we give that to somebody. Because I think too, when you go through the right way to develop yourself, you get that learning, you get that understanding on how to also present something as well, because that makes a big difference on how you present a message to somebody in some way, whether you do it in a negative way or a positive way, and that kind of thing also comes into that. So again, that's all part of training and developing ourselves, and that's what I always believe. It's all those little things that we don't always think about make a big difference in the work that we do in that way.
So true.
It really does.
So true.
Yeah.
Just answering some messages in the comments that I love, that people can put their comments in, we can read them, make them part of the show.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So cool. So what I'm going to do now is, we do have a couple of points left to address that we've advertised that we're going to be speaking about, but I feel it's really important, Barry, and I'd like to know how you feel. For Lacey, she's got a dear friend who's just passed. We've got Lacey, Chrissy, and Annette have all asked for readings. How about
all right.
For Lacey, if you're good with that, and if we've got time at the end, we can look at some more. I feel this is important for Lacey.
Yeah, okay. Look, I see what can happen with this one, and we'll see where we go, because there has to be like an instant connection with that one. As soon as you give the name, I send out my thoughts to spirit or whoever, to ask if they're able to come forward to try and blend with myself. So I'm hoping, I've been kind of doing that as we've been talking anyway, so I'm trying to do that as well. But I do sense this band is starting to build up around me already, you know. But for me, he's the kind of I don't know, I kind of feel like he's the sunshine of people's lives in many ways, and you come across as somebody that's got that energy about him too, you know, with the way he could be in this lifetime. And he certainly was there on many levels, like that friendship, that crazy times, the fun times as well. And I feel as he starts to come in now, it's like the sense, yeah, you know, the way he crossed into the world was very, very quick and perhaps unexpected. But at the same time, he says, you know, I kind of try to live my life to the full in the best way that I can. And you do need to know that, you know, I'm sorry the way I left this world without warning and everything else that comes with that. But I know he's there now to say, you know, please know I'm okay. I'm not in any kind of pain whatsoever. I'm at peace. I'm okay. I'm safe where I am too. And he's saying, you know, please tell everybody, I'm so sorry we never got a chance to kind of say goodbye at the end, sort of thing, because of the way he passed into the spirit world. But I do get something to do with my chest with him also before this gentleman passed. So there must have been a condition with his breathing or something at the very end in some sort of way. But there is this sense like he, at the last moments, there was no pain with him either. It's like I'm here 1 minute and I'm waking up on the other side very, very, very quickly. He shows me too. So with Lacey, he wants to come in to say, it's okay, mate, I'm fine, you know. And I know it's hard for us to, when we're grieving for people and things happen perhaps unexpectedly, but I know he's there now to say, you know, I'm here because I want to support you now through your time of grief, and know that I'm going to do everything I can to let you know I'm with you. You know, and I don't know whether there was motorbikes with him or motorbike or something to do with this, because I hear an engine revving up beside me as well with this gentleman. So he brings that forward as well in some way. And also in the spirit side, it's maybe an unusual thing to say, but I see a dog with him as well, beside him in the spirit. So if it's yours or his, I'm not sure, but I know there's one with him also in the spirit side too. And also I feel with this man, when he passed, the moment he passed, he either tried to come back to let you know he's okay, or he tried to come to be around you by doing something to let you know that was him that was there. And he also he brings a beautiful scent smell in with him as well. So I feel like when he's there, he wants to bring this smell forward also to get your attention, to let you know that he's there in some way. He just brings that forward. But I see him laughing, I see him cheeky, I see him very mischievous in many ways, but I do see a lot of sadness in his eyes too, from his life in emotional challenges in some respects. But you have to know he's fine, he's okay, but he's sorry in the way he left, and he's saying, I'm sorry that we never had time to have that last drink together as well. So yeah, so it's just that kind of little connection I feel he wants to come in with for Lacey.
That's beautiful. Really beautiful. His name's Baker. So our love and care go to you, Lacey, because it's a tough time. I really do know that. And to Baker's family and his loved ones and friends as well. We know Baker's doing really well, but it doesn't always mean that we can feel that.
No,
you know, especially if
that's
they were
right.
young. You know, especially if they were young, we think, well, it's a life cut short. And we have to remember, don't we, Barry, that I believe anyway, that on a soul level, we choose this time. We have our reasons.
Yeah, and I think,
necessary.
and I think sometimes too, perhaps on some level, we've completed what we were meant to do on some level, you know, and I know it's not always nice in perhaps how we leave this world, but sometimes I guess things happen that take us back home in the way that we don't expect.
Exactly. So we've got, I'm just writing down Carleen on the list. We've got a reading for Annette, Chrissy, Lee, and Carleen to do, and that will do us for today. But please remember, everyone, that you can reach out to barrygraymedium.com.au to check out receiving a private reading from him. You will be so grateful, I'm sure. And to know that Barry is with us every month at this time. So it's the third Thursday in the USA timeline and the third Friday in the Australian timeline. So you can be with us every month. If you don't receive a reading today, if you wanted one, if you were hoping to get one and it doesn't happen, we're going to do our best to make sure fabulous, that you will get your readings today. Please be with us again then. Barry is also with Annette McCoy on which week of the month is it? The first?
Yes, it was the last week. Yeah. So
Okay, so the first week of the month, Barry does a whole hour of readings with Annette McCoy on her program as well. So if you go to angelheartradio.com, the details are all there. And it's a really easy way to find out who's on, when they're on, and how you can watch. And, Angel Heart Radio on Facebook, please like us and follow us. And that way you can choose to receive updates as well. Okay, so a bit of feedback from Lacey. That's amazing. Oh, I love you. I'm so blessed for this. I appreciate from my heart. He was one in a million, the wildest, craziest guy. He will live on forever. So there's a lot of comfort and peace there, which is great. Thanks, Barry.
No, that's okay. It's lovely it's nice to get a little bit of feedback too, I think, because it kind of just knows that, you're doing the right thing or you're trying to do the right thing for people, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Your feedback means a lot to us. It really does. Helps us to know that we're, as Barry said, we're delivering for you. God, there's so much love happening in the comments. It's brilliant. I forgot to tell you, if you're watching anywhere else other than on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page, that's the place to be. That's where I can read your comments, right? That's where I know that you're with us. Okay, if you're watching somewhere else in a group or on another page or whatever, I won't know until after the show. Okay, so we now have our wonderful Annette, who would like to receive a reading. Annette. Yep, Annette.
Yeah. Okay, so with Annette, the first thing I have to say is I keep hearing mum in my head. So I certainly feel I've got this lady that's starting to build up, and she keeps putting mum into my mind with me when she's there. But she comes in with this real kind of positive sense of what's the word? I'm just trying to figure out the right word. It's like she's coming in with this upliftment for you at the moment in some kind of way. And Mum's talking about the way she loves the way you are, way you're independent, you kind of live your own life, you do your own thing, and like nobody's going to kind of tell you what to do kind of attitude. And I know Mum's there to kind of say, well done, girl, because I'm proud of you. I love you very much because of the person that you've also become over the past few years or so. But Mum also makes reference to, that she's certainly been very close to you quite recently. So you've been looking at some old photos of her, some black and white ones, not colour ones, some black and white photos of her or sepia ones with her quite recently. And she certainly shows me that, when she wants to be around you, she certainly will make herself known to you in that way. And I feel too, it must have been close to her passing, or there was a time of, coming close to her anniversary, because she brings in a candle for that time of year, I feel, in that way, because she wants to bring that forward also from her side. So it must be very close by, I feel, when she left this world. But, I see a good lady, a strong lady, a no-nonsense type of lady with Mum when she was here on the earth plane. And what she shows me now in the spirit world is that she's kind of sitting there with her feet up, and she's got a little cup of tea in her hand, and she's sitting out in the garden just admiring what she does outside with the little yard that she's got too, because that's something I feel she would like to do, and she continues doing that as well. But she keeps on mentioning your birthday to me as well. So she wants to pass on the best for the birthday that's close by for you. She just brings that forward. Yeah, that's cool. Look, I don't really feel I've got anything else other than that quick message for Annette in that way. But I do feel this lady's there, and she certainly gives me the mum feeling type of thing, with that motherly love for her daughter when she comes forward, I feel.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We have Chrissy. Chrissy's waiting for a reading. Now, Chrissy did put something into the comments a moment or two ago, but there are so many comments flowing through that I don't know where it is. Basically, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Look, we'll see what happens. I'll just work with the name and see what I feel comes through with this, because I kind of feel there's somebody starting to build up already, as you mentioned that name for you as well. Come on, that's okay. Look, I feel straight away I have to connect with this much older lady that's in the spirit world. Now, to me, I see her as a kind of a nicely built lady when she was here on the earth plane, a well-rounded type of lady when she was here. And I certainly feel I want to go back to either gran or grandma, because I feel I want to go back to that time with this lady, that time frame with her as well when she's there. And I know she comes in also with to give you a lot of strength at the moment too, Chrissy, because she talks about an emotional time for you on some level. And I know she's there just to say, you know, girl, think nothing's ever permanent in this life. Things are only ever temporary. So with what you've been going through in recent times, your luck is about to change because it needs to change and you deserve that change to come forward. And I know this lady's there just to give you a bit of support to help you make those changes. And also I see a young man with her in the spirit side too. So I feel there's a young boy, a young man also there that stands beside your grand that's in the spirit world, I feel. You know, and it's the young man that comes forward also to kind of let you know, yeah, I'm okay type of feeling when he's there as well, because, you know, we still worry, we still think about him, we're still concerned for him in some way. But I feel like he senses, you know, I'm fine, I made it home safe, and I've got everybody I need here to help me get through this time. And he wants to come forward to give you that moment as well, to say, I'm also there trying to help you pick yourself back up again and move forward. And she's saying, you know, it's okay to hold my clothes. I don't know what that means, whether you hold some of his or you keep something close to you of his in some way. But his young man saying, it's okay, you know, if that helps you connect with me, that's fine too. But I just know this young man comes forward very much again, back to his old self, is full of beans, is full of life. And, you know, and again, I also see a beautiful smile on this young man's face too. So, but certainly I feel maybe it was Grand who had to bring this young boy through, or young man through for her.
Beautiful. That's lovely. I hope that's supportive for you, Chrissy. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Okay, we've got that one done. We've got Carlene waiting as well. Lee, you're going to get a message too, honey. Carlene's next.
Okay. Look, with Carlene, now this is firstly a bit more psychic than mediumship, because I feel I need to connect with her, this name as well on that psychic level. And what I feel is, you know, like sometimes people go through life, and there are many people in this world that kind of always fighting for everything in their life. You know, they always seem to have to work very, very hard to make things better, or to I don't know, make their life a little bit happier in some way, and also helping everybody else too. And I kind of feel Carlene's either gone through a recent time where you've done that, and it's like I'm letting go now, I'm starting to move forward. But it's almost as if I feel sometimes I don't feel like I'm making headway with the choices I'm making in some way. But what I feel is that sense of really moving forward, keep doing what you're doing and keep putting up a good fight, because changes are on the horizon for you in such more of a positive way. And I also feel I've got a gentleman also from the spirit world is starting to build up for you as well. Now, this gentleman that comes forward, I certainly feel like perhaps I'm in my late 50s, early 60s when I passed away. And it's almost as if, again, I got this kind of condition where I had a lot of difficulty with my chest area before I passed away into the spirit world. But that took a time for this man to pass over into the spirit world with this condition when he comes forward. But I know this man comes in there with this sense of being a very strong person when he was here, maybe being a bit difficult towards the end of his life in some kind of way because of what he was going through. But at the same time, I feel like he comes through with a lot of love for you on so many levels. But I just feel, again, he's there to give you a bit of encouragement, say, it's okay, girl, I'm with you, I'm supporting you, just to let you know that, you know, with what you've been through recently, things are starting to get better, and they will only get better for you in so many different levels. And I see that sunshine coming ahead for you, where you're going to be in much more better, much more happier space for yourself in time to come. And there's a lady that also had cancer that passed away too. She just said to me, cancer. I feel this lady comes in beside this other gentleman, and she also wants you to know that, you know, you maybe the apple of her eye type of thing, or you were very much loved by her in that respect, because she comes through with that sense of watching over you, protecting you, and just giving you a bit of a hug and guidance when you need that around you as well. Yeah, cool. Okay, look, I feel that's all I got for that one, but it just seemed to be that little message came in for. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And we received some feedback from Chrissy, and she says, thank you. He was my friend that passed away and my nanny.
Okay,
So
lovely.
Beautiful feedback.
Yeah, and it was certainly, I think, nanny or the grand that came in needed to come in to bring this young man forward type of thing.
Yeah, wonderful. And it's just those simple words that it just feels so wonderful.
Yeah, and it does, you know, it's just that reassurance that we all need sometimes, you know, to know that they're okay, is what's important, I think, to many people, because as you know, we hear all kinds of weird and wonderful things about what supposedly happens to us when we leave this world, and which all comes from what's fear into people, I think, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. And it's one of those things, because when it's you and it's your loved one, it's your friend.
Yeah.
Even though we may in life know and have a strong connection that life continues, but to get that reassurance just means everything.
It does. It makes such a big difference. It kind of helps perhaps kickstart that healing process that we have to go through sometimes as well. But it still never makes it easy, because, like, physically speaking, we miss our loved ones. But at the same time, we know at least they're okay. At least they're safe. At least they're not suffering. At least they don't have any illnesses anymore or in any kind of pain. They're in a really good space, and they're in a really good world, I guess. And we're kind of left behind to grieve that and feel that loss.
Yeah. So true. So very, very true. Okay, so Lee, it's your turn. Yay. Thanks for being so patient.
Okay, so with Lee, I kind of get the sense of there's been either some emotional turmoil around quite recently in some way, because I feel there's a bit up and down with that at the moment on some level. But what I feel is, as I'm starting to talk away about Lee, I feel like I've got a lady and a gentleman both coming in together from the spirit world, and it's almost as if they're fighting with each other to try and, like, the laddish one gets through type of feeling. Because I feel like they're trying to battle with each other at the moment to come through. But I feel like it's the lady that's going to win through on this time. I feel with this lady that comes forward, and I feel too with this lady that's there. She certainly gives me the sense of, if she may not have passed young, but she still gives me that sense of still being young at heart type of energy around her. So for me, she shows me, even towards the end of her life, when she was fighting through her own challenges, she always kind of tried to find the humour in things, tried to use that humour to get through those kind of tough times and tough situations. And she talks about you also being very much like that, where you've had to do that in the past 18 months or so. But I know this lady comes forward, she comes forward with this sense of pride for you in that respect. She certainly gives me the feeling that she's so proud of you, very happy of you in so many ways, and she's pleased that you starting to also make things better for yourself in many, many ways, as in emotionally speaking too. But I know this lady's there now to kind of say, girl, life can be tough sometimes, but we've got that fighting spirit within all of us to keep going. And you certainly had to draw on that in the past sort of few years or so in that way. But she says, be pleased with who you are. I'm very pleased with you, and I love you so much. And this lady keeps on tidying up her hair as well. So for me, she was somebody that was very presentable lady, somebody that really took care of her appearance and her hair and everything else. But at the very end of her life, she makes reference to perhaps the hair wasn't quite the way she liked it when she got sent off from this world to the next. So for me, I just think that's who she was, a bit fussy in that kind of way, a very clean, tidy lady, also within the home too, because she shows me being very on top of everything within the home in that way. There must have been 5 siblings connected to her, because she makes reference to one of 5 with her as well when she was here on the earth plane. Cool. Yeah, that's okay. But I know she's in there to say, come on, girl, it's fine. You're almost there. Keep going. I'm there supporting you every step of the way.
I love it. Thank you, Barry. Thank you. Carlene says, thanks, Barry. That's my mum and brother. Your message was so spot on regarding change and moving forward. So that's brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and, that's lovely.
We've got time for one more. It's our own Annie, our own Annette McCoy.
Annie. Oh, okay. Annette. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I called her Annie. It was so funny. When I first met her, I kept calling her Annie. She doesn't like being called Annie, as a rule. And I couldn't stop calling her Annie. And I said, I'm so sorry, but it just comes out of my mouth. And I can't seem to stop it. And so from then on, she said, you know what? I like it when you call me Annie.
Well, that's fine. Yeah. Well, it could be a lot worse, couldn't it?
That's right. It could be a lot worse, Annie. So yeah, Annette McCoy, our beautiful host here on Angel Heart Radio. Thanks, Barry.
That's okay. Okay, look, again with Annette, I see both a lady and a gentleman. Again, both coming in together from the spirit world, and they're standing each side of you at the moment as well. And again, I feel like this may be mum, perhaps dad, because I feel I've got that kind of feeling around these two people that are coming forward for you. And I know too that's mum that comes forward. She kind of wants to come in just to kind of, I don't want to say speak too much, but she wants to come in to certainly. Pass on her love to you in that sort of way. But there was this real sense of kind of stubbornness with this lady, I feel, somebody that's very stubborn in many ways and kind of went through life and put up with a lot in some respects. But she always, that stubbornness kept her going through life with the challenges that she went through in so many ways. And she wants to take me to, what are we now, October? She wants to take me to the month of November for some birthday or anniversary, because she takes me to that time of year with that side of it. She wants to bring that forward. So, I'm going to be there at that time too, when people think of me and people come together. It's something to do with November with this lady, with mum, I feel in that way. Come on, that's fine. And mum's also saying, recently about your health as well. She said, make sure that you kind of do take notice of what's going on around you. Nothing dramatic, but sometimes I think we kind of miss what's going on around us, and we don't always take notice of what's going on within ourselves too. And mum's saying, you're fine. Just make sure you keep on top of things. And I certainly feel you can keep going to do what you want to do. And I know too, when mum's there, she just wants to just to remind you. What about? She's talking to me to remind you about something. Oh, okay. Remind you. She's talking about reminding you to do something. Oh, I don't know what that means. Sorry, it's not very clear. She's trying to get me to remind you of something. Something to do with music. Something to do with music to remind you of something to do with music. She keeps on putting into my head to remind you about you need to get done, whatever that means to you. Hopefully you can understand that in some way. But I know too, with the gentleman that comes in, he also wants to come in to kind of give you a lot of love and a lot of praise from him as well, because this man comes in with a sense of perhaps standing behind mum in some way. So maybe mum was the spokesperson in that kind of relationship. But I know this gentleman comes in also to give that kind of acknowledgement from his side of life as well. But I see somebody that perhaps was a little bit reserved in some ways in that way, because it just comes across to me in that with that feeling as well. Come on, that's fine. Cool. Look, I don't really feel I've got anything else for that one, to be honest. And it just seems to have been a very, very quick in and out with these two, this couple that came in.
Yeah, that's lovely. And again, it's what you said before. It's giving what you get, not padding it out, not making it up. This is what you've got. So that's great. And thank you, Annie, for asking and for joining us. And so, wow, there's so much going on here. I just wanted to share. It's lovely to meet you too, Carleen. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio. Welcome to my life. That's all I can say. Now we've got some feedback from someone regarding their reading, and I want to read that to you. It was Lee. Lee says, that was beautiful. I believe that was a grandmother figure to me, but I think at one point my other grandmother might have come forward, as you mentioned the two. You were really on about the ups and downs with me, and the main grandmother figure who would say a lot, we just have to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Which I believe you said almost exactly. She also had multiple siblings as well. Thank you. That's brilliant.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that's lovely. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that can happen where you can get a crossover with spirit too, I believe. Like when we're connected to one person in spirit, if somebody else also wants to come forward, they can kind of try and push in or override that a bit. So then we can get a bit of conflicting evidence, or like it will be swapping from one to the other quite quickly sometimes. And in my experience, that can happen in that way sometimes.
Yeah, wonderful. Annie says, I can so identify with that reading, Barry. Thank you in big letters. Thank you so much. So that is brilliant. And Annie also reminds me that it's actually, you're on her program the 4th week of the month. You're on mine the 1st week of the month. Apparently I got that mixed up when I was sharing it.
I didn't even think.
Honestly, best way to find out, everyone. Now, I'm going to add Barry to Annette's details on the show guide today, but the best way to find out always is go in advance of what's coming up go to angelheartradio.com. Best way to watch Angel Heart Radio, Angel Heart Radio on Facebook. Easy peasy. We do have a YouTube channel, but no one knows it's there because for some weird reason I lost access to our YouTube channel. So Angel Heart Radio is on YouTube. Anybody wants to know, let me know. I'll send it to you. And it's on the Angel Heart Radio show guide as well. Lee says, absolutely. I knew right away that both of them were probably overlapping a bit. Thank you again.
Awesome.
So Jay says, thank you so much for a great show and a lot of exclamation points. Much love to you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love that. You will be able to see all the comments in the comment section, Barry, on the live stream. If you'd like to reply to anyone, that's always lovely to do.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
And it helps people to connect directly with you then, which I really love. There is just so much going on here. I just want to say to everyone, if I've missed any of your comments, any of your questions, my great apologies. But Barry and I are back this time next month, just go an hour earlier in time. And any questions you have for Barry, there is a post on Facebook, on Angel Heart Radio on Facebook, that says, what's the number one thing on your mind about your loved ones in spirit? Add your questions in there, please, 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 because that is where I'm going to take the questions from for the show next month for Barry, so he can answer them all for you. Woohoo! Gotta love it. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it's about. As we always say, it's about bringing everybody together and providing that platform for people to perhaps gain a bit of knowledge or share,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Chrissy says, thank you for the lesson today. I learned some new things. Perfect.
That's awesome.
Carlene says, can't wait to see you next month. Yay. Can't wait to have you with us. So everyone, barrygraymedium.com. You'll see it right there behind him, over his left shoulder. See, sitting there waiting for you. Take it down. Write it down this second. Go to his website and make a connection if you'd like to book a private reading. And of course, Barry's wonderful workshop is coming up in Queensland, Australia on September 25. That link is on Angel Heart Radio's Facebook page as well. And when you get there, head on over to Barry and, like his page, because that way you get to find out firsthand everything that's happening. And we really appreciate it and love it when people like our pages and follow us, don't we, Barry?
Yeah, we definitely, because it kind of, like I said, it helps us all connect together, and we all know what's going on with each other, and and then if things are coming up, events are coming up like this, people are aware of it then. So it's lovely.
It's brilliant. And I know you do platform work on the Gold Coast, and so that's another good reason. Can't wait to see you next. Oh, that's Carlene. Love it. Can't wait to see you next month, Barry. So boom.
Likewise.
All right, everyone. Gee, you're always such an incredible audience. It's such a real pleasure and a privilege and so much fun sharing with you all. It's really great fun for us, Barry, isn't it? This is playtime.
It is, and I absolutely love it, because for me, it's like, I guess, tapping into what I love doing and my passion is too. It's about helping people and, putting, I don't know, maybe put a different spin on perhaps what other people think, about what their experiences are in many ways, and I always say to people, no matter how long you do this work, we never, ever stop growing through knowledge and experience, because it's important to remember that we never, ever get to the top of what we do either, because the minute we start thinking that, then we get complacent. That means we don't care about what we're doing, and we even probably affects our work too in some way. So being able to share with what we do with people through this media is a wonderful way to reach people. So yeah, absolutely.
It is, and the other thing, everyone, please remember. Hey, we've got amazing hosts on Angel Heart Radio. You'll find it all on the show guide. There's a lot that we've got to offer for you. I see Angel Heart Radio as a beautiful banquet, and you guys are all invited. And the table is lavish and gorgeous, and it's got everything, so many things there. And you can take what you like and leave what you don't want or need or fancy at the moment, right? So, you know, come join the banquet, everyone. And can't remember what I was going to say now, which is unfortunate. So I'd just like to say instead, thank you, Barry Gray, again.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, as always. Thanks, Anaya, and thank you to all your wonderful listeners that have come on today. It's a pleasure to connect with you all, and we look forward to connecting with you again.
Absolutely. So remember now, everyone, to be kind to you, to look after you. You are so important. And it's so easy to forget that in the hustle and bustle of day-to-day life and the ups and downs and in the dramas that happen in all our lives. So look after you and take good care of you. We need you. You're here for a reason. So the better you take care of you, the better you can fulfill your own purpose and enjoy your life, right? We want you to enjoy your life as well. So you take good care. We love you. We will see you again. I'll see you again next week. Barry will see you again next month. And remember, the podcast episode of this will be available on all your favorite platforms as well. Okay, everyone. Lots of love. Thanks again, Barry.
No, welcome. Thanks, Anaya. Thank you, everyone.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.